Good morning and welcome to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Hope you like the slight tilt to the camera. It is a little twisted this morning. Appreciate you joining us. If you're watching us live, thank you for that. If you are checking this show out later, thank you for that as well. We appreciate you watching and giving us support. The news is on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We also have a podcast, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast, where these shows go, as well as our long-form podcast that we produce. The most latest one we did was on the schools and what they do during the summer to get ready for next year. We also sat down and visited with Parish Councilman Jeff Ard from District 1, who did a morning show just like this one, and then a podcast after. So again, you can check those out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. They're also on Anchor FM, which ships them out everywhere. Still haven't heard from Apple Podcast on that one. Traffic this morning, heavy delays at the Denham Springs exit heading westbound on I-12. Heavy delays as well after the O'Neill exit, and delays heading into the 10-12 split. 64 looking relatively clear heading into Central. I got it there at the end. Highway 190 or Florida Boulevard heading westbound into Baton Rouge. Minor delays after the light at 4-H Club Road heading over the Amite River Bridge. Weather today, it's already pretty warm. 78 degrees, feels like 81. Love it when it's one and the other. 92 degrees is your high today. Partly cloudy, just a 20% chance of rain. Low of 76 over the evening. We also want to let everyone know about a correction from Sunday's paper. We had received the information from DOTD on the wrong project. The headline on the front page read $9.2 million for the Kane Market Road fix. That is incorrect. It's $150,000 roughly, unless there are any major change orders that come through. The jump and the online story are correct. We do apologize. That page had already been shipped to our printer. There will be a correction in Thursday's paper as well. Also, other traffic news: the Satsuma exit will face intermittent closing August 7th through 9th for on-ramp and off-ramp work. So please be aware of that if you live in that area. Qualifying starts today. It runs through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. all day, basically, 3 days in a row at the Clerk of Court's office. We will be touching base with you this afternoon, so please come back and check out that show if you want to see who qualified for what in this race. Lots and lots and lots of open seats at both the parish and statewide level. Reps, senators, all the statewide electorates, parish-wide electorates, parish councilmen. It's going to be a full ballot for you on October 12th with follow-up election on November 16th to for your runoffs. So please check us out this afternoon. Kevin Fambro will be up there checking in on who qualified, who didn't for the first day out of 3. Qualifying does end at 4:30 p.m. Thursday, no exceptions. Master plan meeting tonight. They'll be focused on funding and a little twist. The ordinance committee from the parish council 2 weeks ago punted the sewer proposal to the master plan committee. So tonight they will hear from Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, Mark Harrell, who will be seeking grant funding to try to help redo or modernize, I guess you can say, the master plan. The committee was told that the plan had a good base, but would need to be updated for 2019, post-flood, post-development, that kind of thing. The original was accepted in 2013. That cost was banked in at relatively half of the original cost of the plan, which was $500,000. So it would be about $250,000 for the update. There is also a stormwater and drainage master plan that they are seeking. That would be anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000. So they'll be hearing from Mark Harrell tonight as to where he can try to find that $450,000 to $500,000. Also, as mentioned, the proposed sewer ordinance to try to navigate affluent and package plants that are not in compliance was sent to the master plan committee. They'll be talking about how they can work that into a part of the master plan zoning and infrastructure. that being said, the ordinance committee will face some sewer issues on Thursday as residents from Serene Acres brought their complaints to their parish councilman, R.C. Bubba Harris, who then brought it to the council in regards to grinder pumps that were not appropriate. The pumps themselves, as Mr. Eric Harrell said, technically work just fine, but they're not big enough, and they don't function well as some things downline, including a force main, are not big enough or functioning properly for the sewer that's coming out of that subdivision. So they'll be discussing things like inspections, basic size for if grinder pumps are installed. And Mr. Harris wants it to go so far as to say there has to be some sort of disclosure if those houses are sold to say this house uses a grinder pump and this is what you should know about grinder pumps. So we'll be learning about that Thursday. But tonight, master plan looking at funding and that proposed sewer ordinance. Bike ped plan, which is bicycle and pedestrian master plan for the city of Denham Springs, is having a public meeting tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. The Gresham Smith, who is the planning consultant for this whole movement, has taken the public feedback from March, as well as produced a list of local, regional, and statewide, I guess you can say, plans and ideas that are out there to try to match them together to find funding, mostly to find funding. That will be, those lists will be compared for audience members. They will also be able to see what the proposed bike and master plans look like after taking that public input from March. Maps have been drawn up. They will be there at that public meeting. You can also find those maps if you can't make that meeting at www.livingstonparishnews.com/news. There is a preview story for tonight's bike ped plan meeting, as well as those maps that show where the bicycle paths would be, where the walking paths would be, how they intersect, that sort of thing. So check that out if you can't make it. If you can make it, the meeting is at Healing Place Church from 5 to 7 p.m. tonight in Denham Springs. Walker had an open house at their new school this past Sunday. We discussed it yesterday. A lot of history there at Walker. They passed a 14 mil tax in 2014. This is the result of several years of construction after bonding out that tax, which has doubled their campus size, as well as increased their area for vocational teaching and things of that nature. So you can check out the full story on what folks said and what happened at the open house at www.livingstonparishnews.com/news. Kevin Fambro brought that story to us. Again, we are $5 online, $7 for an e-edition. Those are monthly costs. If you're having trouble staying logged in, please give us a call, 225-665-5176. We are in print on Thursdays. That's $10 a month. Mr. Rodney Armand brought an interesting story about Miranda Lobel, who was the coach at Springfield High School for volleyball, who was accepted into dentistry school. It's a very interesting feature about Miss Lobel. It's at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. Speaking of Springfield, the previews for Springfield football and Albany football came out over the weekend. You now have all 5 previews as these teams kick off fall camp with school beginning Friday. You'll be able to see, we'll be covering their practices and seeing how they're getting prepared for the year as that comes along. First game in about 3 weeks. Football season's here. Tri-Parish Ballet performed the Magic Bookstore and will now have auditions for their yearly sort of big show, which is the Nutcracker, which comes up around Christmas. You can check that out from Mr. David Gray, www.livingstonparishnews.com/arts and entertainment. Again, correction on the Kane Market repair. It is $150,000, not $9.2 million. We received the wrong project estimate from DOTD. We did get that corrected. We will run a correction in Thursday's paper. Excuse me. Thank you again for joining us today. The news is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Please check us out there. putting all sorts of good content out. You can find these shows and our long-form podcasts at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. They are free. Again, that's these shows as well as the long-form podcast. We did one Sunday regarding the schools and what they do over the summer to get ready for next year. We did one last Friday. We did a morning show as well as a podcast with Parish Councilman Jeff Ard. Mr. Garrett Graves will be on our afternoon show as qualifying comes to a wrap on Thursday. We'll be talking to him for about 30 minutes on a wide variety of topics. He'll be here in the audio room at the Livingston Parish News with us, so we're looking forward to that. Again, qualifying begins today. Tons and tons and tons of offices are up for grabs. Qualifying begins here in just about 18 minutes. There are a wide range of positions up for election, from governor, parish president, parish council, state reps, state senate, statewide offices, parish-wide offices. Give it a look. We have a story up, www.livingstonparishnews.com/news that says qualifying begins today, and here are the local and statewide offices. There are also 4 constitutional amendments and a renewal that will be on some. The constitutional amendments will be on most ballots. The renewal will be for those who live inside Gravity Drainage District 1. Our paper next week will be a deep dive on the election, talking about everybody that's running, or everybody that qualified, and the election cycle as it comes up this year. I read the list twice yesterday. I'm not going to read it this morning because I'm going to end up reading it this afternoon, talking about who all qualified. If you're looking for a list of those offices, again, you can check out www.livingstonparishnews.com/news. One last time around with the traffic. Heavy delays are now backing up to Jubin from the Denham Springs exit. It looks like an accident is causing delays. Those delays are also being stacked up at Sherwood Forest and O'Neill. Delays at the 10-12 split, and now heavy delays after the 10-12 split around the LSU Lakes. Delays on 190 just over the bridge, probably there at Old Hammond Highway, and delays on 64 heading into Central. Just a slow-moving day this morning. 78 degrees, feels like 81, already pretty warm today, even here at 7:45 in the morning. 92 degrees is your high today. 76 will be your low tonight. 20% chance of rain through the weekend, looking at roughly the mid-90s and mid-70s as your highs and lows respectively for the rest of the week. Again, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Thank you for joining us this morning for another episode of the Livingston Parish News Daily Show. We come to you 7:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon to give you an idea of what happened. Sometimes we have a little crossover, stories get updated, that sort of thing. But for the most part, we're bringing you what's going on at that day in Livingston Parish. So again, we will be back at you this afternoon at 4:30, maybe a little closer to 4:40 as we let all of the qualifiers be entered into the Secretary of State system, so we can give you an update on who qualified in day 1 and how that's going. Thanks again for joining us. See you this afternoon.